What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of How Did We Get Here? And on this episode, we're going to be talking about trust. Yes, so stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of How Did We Get Here? I guess this is episode 4, and this episode we're talking about trust.
Yes.
And in this episode we're going to talk about distrust and all the things that come with distrust. Distrust. What did I say? Distrust.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyways, I'm gonna just have a segment of words that I cannot pronounce. But we're talking about trust and also how to regain trust within a marriage. But first, before we get into that, baby, what is your review? Because we had a lot of mixed opinions, and I know I'm going off subject, but it was a lot of mixed reviews on Coming to America Part 2. How did you feel about that?
I thought it was good. The plot could have been better, but I like how they did a lot of flashbacks to the original movie, and then they had a lot of guest appearances, which was cool to see. I was sad when the father passed away. Oh, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it.
Well, hopefully by this time, because we're going to be dropping this very soon, so Sunday. So, yeah, I guess it might be a spoiler alert for some people. But I liked it. You know, I felt like a lot of people's expectations was too high when it came to this movie. I guess they was expecting the old Coming to America when you got to think, you know, it's new age, it's new stuff. And like people say, I didn't like the plot. Are you talking about him going back to America to go get his son?
Just like, plot? Who would have thought that during that time that he would have had a bastard son, which is what he always called him, but like how it came about, like you would have never thought that's something that happened when they, you know, went to the bar and then.
But that's why they tried to explain what happened.
I get it, but
you know, I don't know. My thing is, like, I would ask people, like, how would you put this story together then? If you was to bring it back and you was to, like, incorporate him coming back to America and the reason why he had to come back to America, what would it be?
I mean, he could have already had a son and children, and they might have been trying to experience the same thing he was trying to experience when he was a prince coming up. Or
I feel like they displayed that, but not enough. They displayed it more at the end, like with the girl that was doing his hair.
Yeah,
like they displayed that a little bit at the end.
The connection.
Yeah, it wasn't.
They did reference a lot of stuff, like the things that they did once they got married at the end, like Eddie and his wife, and then
don't tell people too much.
Okay.
But still, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Maybe they could incorporate it like the same journey that he went through, with coming to Africa, you know what I mean, or something like that.
It's some parallels.
It's just like I wanted to know, like, what would be y'all plot if y'all was to writers or y'all would to pitch a movie, like what would it be? So I mean, I felt like it was good. Okay. I felt like it was a good movie. Maybe the storyline as far as, you know, him having a kid, maybe like I don't think weed would have made him like do that.
That had to been laced with something.
It had to be late, like she had to roofie him. Like, now if you said if she roofied him, then I could understand that.
You just told me not to go into detail.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Anyways, we're gonna move on to distrust in a relationship. Go ahead, baby.
So we all know that, of course, love is important in a relationship, which is a, you know, foundational element, but you also need trust. So trust is a additional foundational element. without
very
that,
important.
without that, it's like, what do you have? Not much anything. Even to have a friendship, you got to have a certain level of trust.
Yeah.
So whenever that is violated, it is detrimental to whatever relationship, whether it be friendship, whether it be marriage, it can be, any type of relationship. Even the relationship between a physician and a client, like that's this distrust in that type of relationship is major as well. So it goes to say that trust is a very big key to maintaining a healthy relationship. So there's different levels to distrust, and we're gonna go over a couple of them. So one of the first levels of distrust is doubt. I think that everyone has some type of doubt in regards to a relationship,
especially in the beginning.
Right. But allowing it to go further is what breaks down that relationship. Allowing that doubt to go further, not nipping it in the bud. So with doubt comes feeling like something's just not right. Like, I don't know what it is. Or feeling like you have some type of intuition that something is wrong. That's the first initial state of distrust, is doubt. And if you recognize that you have some type of doubt within your relationship, I recommend that you go ahead and clarify that immediately before it develops into something else. And then after doubt, what it develops into is suspicion. Suspicion that you can say, for instance, well, I think that my boyfriend is talking to another female, or receiving texts from another female, or hanging around people that's not good. That's your initial suspicion. Like, I think something else is going on beyond what someone is telling you. Mm-hmm. And that can also be a pattern of behavior. Say, for instance, if you live with your significant other or your spouse, and he or she may come home and immediately go take a shower, that can be a pattern. Well, why do you always do that when you didn't used to do that before? Or
he cheat, or she cheating.
Yeah, and that's exactly that's the first thing that comes to your mind, because you have this new set of patterns that wasn't normally there. Okay. Next is, let's see, fear. At this point, because you have doubt, because you have suspicion, you now have a fear that something is going wrong. Mm-hmm. And fear can take you many places if you don't get a hold of it. What do you think in regards to fear? How do you think that affects a relationship?
Being fearful in a relationship, like you are afraid to fall into a consistent trap or a consistent situation that you've been through with other people in your life, or that you dealt with in a relationship. So having those repeated things happen over and over again, that creates fear, or anxiety, or like you said, the doubt in somebody. So having fear is kind of detrimental. Like, you don't want that person or your spouse to have fear or be fearful of the things that you say or your actions.
Right. So basically, it's a breach of trust, of repeated breaches of trust.
Yes.
And then after you have that, you get self-protection. So I doubt what you're doing. I have a suspicion that this is going on. Now I've developed a fear about what's going on. And then as a result of that, I now have anxiety as a result of what's going on. So that's basically the physical reaction to all of those that was stated above. You don't want to get to the place where you have anxiety because it takes over your entire physical body. And that can be heart palpitations, that can be, shaking, it can be cold sweats, it can be anything.
Yeah, and then like you said, all those four would turn into self-protection, basically self-preservation. So all you thinking about is self.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna protect myself and my well-being and my mind and my body. Then to continue to go through this, or to continue to live like this, or live like this, or live in this way, or in this fear. Consistently. No, you can't do it.
Right.
Or you won't be able to.
Right. You're basically trying to guard your feelings. You're putting up a wall to make sure that those feelings that you felt earlier, the fear, the anxiety, the suspicion, the doubt, doesn't come back again, because those are all negative feelings. Your body responds to that in a negative way. So your body is basically trying to stop that from occurring. So you have all kind of walls that you'll put up, emotional walls that keep that from happening. So it's like a traumatic experience. Mm-hmm. If you ever experience a traumatic experience, like maybe driving in a car and having a car accident, and then the next time that you drive in a car again, and you kind of come close to that particular place that you've had the accident, or somebody reacts in their car, maybe stops really quickly, it brings back that trauma that you've experienced. So that's basically what you're trying to prevent, is to have those same emotions come up again. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the ways that distrust can affect your relationship.
And also, like you said, with that, it becomes, with all those things, and then self-preservation or self-protection, you become withdrawal from that person. Like you distance yourself away from that person, where there's no, sometimes there will be ways, to, regain trust, but in that moment, in that time, like, you or them are going to withdraw from you, try to distance themselves as much as possible, to not even fight anymore, not to hear your lies, not to be disappointed consistently. Like, even just for a small example, I used to tell like just small little lies with my wife, no matter when it came to food or little things that I've done throughout the day. It's just little petty lies, and it became a distrust for her, where she, the lack of trust was like building up, and it became a point where she ended up just exploding about it. I mean, yes, we got through it. That's why we explode. She exploded.
I did not. I talked to you about it. I didn't explode.
We here to be real with people.
We are being real. I did not explode.
Okay. All right. You did. But moving on. But she let me know how she truly felt, and and it's something that I had to build on, and and these are ways, not saying I used all of these ways, but I did use most of them.
And then you'll have coping mechanisms as well. Not only self protection, but you'll have coping mechanisms to try to deal with what you're feeling. Some people drink, some people get high, some people eat. I know I'm an emotional eater. I can be happy, I want to eat. I can be sad, I want to eat. I can just be laying on the couch doing nothing. I want to eat.
Can I say the same thing about mine?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
No. So anyway, yeah. So they're different. Everyone has different coping mechanisms, and the best thing you can try to do is find a healthy one. I'm trying to get into the habit now of trying to eliminate as much stress, and try to do that with exercise versus eating, because this COVID 15, 20, 25, 30 pounds is real. Mm-hmm. So, you want to find healthy coping mechanisms. So not only, are you trying to talk with your significant other about what's going on, why you feel these ways, until, certain things get resolved. You can use exercise, walking, looking at nature, taking care of other things or other people to get the focus off yourself to try to deal with what's going on until you can resolve the issue.
True. And so, moving on to, how to build trust within the relationship, marriage, or whatever. Like ways to regain trust is understanding what you did and why. Having a self check with yourself, and if you don't understand in that moment, if you don't understand what you've done, in some type of way, when your partner is calmed down and you've given them time, this is a way to gain trust, is giving them time to, come down from being angry or being upset with you because of something that you've done or said that lost trust. How to get it back is being patient with them, but also when you're able to talk to them and figure out what the issue is, you have to understand what they're saying to you, listening and being an active listener.
Which is
important. Which is another thing to be important in building trust. But listening to what they have to say and understanding what you did to them and how it made them feel. And why it made them feel that way, and understanding and also telling them why you did it. Why I did this is because even to say whether if you're wrong or right, understanding what you did and why, and explaining that to your partner of why you did it, and why you felt this way.
Right. So that example could be, I don't want to always use cheating, but that's like one thing that you always see, cheating. They even got to show out their cheaters. So,
or liars.
Or liars. I don't know if that's a show though, but I digress. But getting back to it, so an example could be cheating, and you say for instance, if I was the cheater, be like, why did I do that? What was it that I feel like that I was lacking from my partner that I feel like I had to go and cheat? I would say at least 9 times out of 10, it's not anything that the partner did. It's something that the person feels like they're lacking.
Yeah. And like it comes to all of it in the beginning. Like if you done wrong, like you have to accept what you did was wrong, understand what you did was wrong and why you did it. Be sympathetic, like be honest and true, and be sincere about your apologies. Like don't come in half-ass apology. Like truly understand what you did wrong, what you did and why, and then apologize sincerely. Like let your partner know. But also with that, it's gonna have to be repetitions. Like you gonna have to continuously do these things. You can't just mess up one time and then try to come back and you say your apologies, but your actions don't say different. You know what I mean? You're talking, your actions speak louder than your words.
And that goes back to, if you've done something wrong and you apologize for it, you have to be patient with the other person on the other end, and then realize as well that it may not change overnight. It's going to take some time for these feelings to, go away, and then to have that trust rebuilt, to make sure that how I know that you're not going to do this the next time. You have to constantly reassure that other person that I'm not going to do this again.
Yeah, because reassurance is important.
Yeah, if that even means, explaining the situation over again, or letting that person know what happened. Some people want details. Some people want details in regards to infidelity or anything like that. Some people want to know, tell me what happened. What did you do first? Did you come in? Did you immediately, start touching each other? Did y'all get right to it? Or was it like a conversation? Were
That's a
you
lot of
engaged?
information.
A lot of people, you'd be surprised. A lot of people want details because it helps to try to them to understand what happened, and a lot of people feel like they are the ones responsible for it.
But
When in
it also,
actuality, they may not be.
but then that also like that's like putting judgment on it. So it depends on what you did. Depends on whether if I'm gonna stay with you or not. Because then when you ask somebody for details, they might not even give you full detail.
Well, then that again
Like,
is go back to the trust issue.
but
Why won't you supply that person with all that
that's
information?
that's what I'm saying. They can still tell you truth. They can tell you this happened, but they can leave out things that you would never know.
That's true.
Like you would never know, but still in your mind you like, okay, he still told me or she still told me, and all right, let's start building trust. But still, how do you know that that person has told you everything that you needed to know or you wanted to know?
And again, I feel like a lot of that may come back to intuition, because you can tell somebody something and then their intuition is just like, I don't feel like this is the entire truth. There's still something there that you're not telling me. So it's my opinion. It's best to be upfront and honest with everything. Yes. If they want to know the details, just give it to them. You've already done messed up. So what's the worst that can happen? Whether they decide to leave, whether they decide to stay. If you want to know the details, then tell them. It's the whole thing is, like we're saying, is built on trust.
Yeah, and so like to take care of those doubts, those suspicions, those anxieties. Like you have to apologize sincerely, be honest, be consistent.
Have patience.
After, you still have to be consistent too. Yeah, you have to be patient with her, especially if it's something major that you have done. Yes, her or him. Especially if it's something major that you have done, you have to give them time. You have to give them time to think about, their feelings and how they want to proceed and move on within the relationship. You got to give them time. Like, regardless of how many times you may apologize, and it may be frustrating, may be annoying, but if you're willing to make it work, you'll give it time. And then if that person decides like I don't think I could ever trust you, then that's the decision that y'all have to live with, and the decision y'all have to make, whether if you're gonna stay together or be apart. Because without trust, there is nothing. Like we had the episode last week with intimacy, but we should have had this episode before intimacy, because without trust, you can't have no type of intimacy. Right. Like it's not gonna happen, and not even sometimes not even spiritual intimacy can help trust, because if that person don't trust you just in general, how can they trust you with their spiritual self, or them moving in a religious way, or whatever their religious beliefs are or their spiritual beliefs are? That's hard for them to even continue or even have a conversation with you. So trust is very important. Trust comes before anything. You have to be able to trust a stranger, even for single people. Like, you may have doubt in the person that you just started talking to. You may have heard stories from other females of, oh, he this way, he that way, or she's this way, or she's that way. You may raise suspicion about this person. You may have anxiety about this person. But if you trust in yourself and you trust in them that y'all be totally honest with each other, like be honest and real. Yes, conversations may become uncomfortable. Conversations may become unbearable to stand and listen throughout the whole thing, especially if you're wrong. Like, you don't want to hear. People never want to hear when they're wrong.
Right.
Like, that's a major thing.
That's
Nobody
part
ever.
Of growth.
Exactly. Like, no one ever wants to hear that they're wrong. But when you really understand, like, all right, dang, like I really was wrong. Like, this really was my fault. Like, that's growth. That's understanding. People that go out in the world and don't believe the things that they do or say affect other people, and it loses trust in them, like those people that's just not aware of it, I call them toxic people. Like, those are people that, like, I can't trust myself around you. I can't trust the words that I say. I can't trust my family around you, or even my kids around you. those things are important. Like, we're not just talking about relationships, we're talking about friendships, family, like just trust in general, and you have to be patient with people. You have to be apologetic, sincerely. You have to accept the responsibility, and like we said, understand what you did and why. And those things can help build trust, but you have to be consistent. You have to keep doing it over and over and over again. Yes, it may suck. Yes, it may be annoying. And yes, your partner may not, or your family member or your friend may not be responding as fast as you want them to respond. But you also have to look at, put the shoes on the other foot. Like, what if they was put in the same position as you? You know what I mean? Or they done the same thing that you've done. What would you do?
Right.
Or how would, like, you would understand how they feel right now. So, take a step back, self-reflect, and, start to make the change.
Right. It's just like every relationship should have a level of grace. We are not perfect. No one is perfect. So we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to do something that someone else is disapprove of or doesn't agree with. But if you allow a level of grace to say, okay, I'm going to give you this space because I know that, you're going to do wrong. Although you may not think, like, I don't want my spouse or my significant other to do wrong, but it's inevitable because we all make mistakes. Give them that level of grace to do after they've done wrong, to say, okay, I forgive you, let's talk about it, and so hopefully this won't occur again. Or if you can't implement these suggestions, you can always go to counseling. Then they will teach you the different ways that you can work through your issues. They're not just there to solve your problem. They're there to help you cope and learn coping mechanisms to help you within your relationship, because it's gonna happen again. It may not be that same mistake or that same error, but it's gonna happen again. So in the next time that something happens, you won't just go and like just lose your mind and be like, okay, this is what they told me. Okay, I need to evaluate, calm down, think about what's going on, what led up to this particular, error or, whatever happened, and then let's go and figure out how we can resolve it. They give you those methods and coping mechanisms to help you throughout your relationship.
And also these things all right here that we talked about, and how to recognize distrust and how to build trust. There's also exercises in how to build trust. Right. You can Google many different ones and how to build trust, and even the Ultimate Intimacy app that we've said before. We didn't even get paid for that. We should be getting paid for that.
I think sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, the Intimacy app, is ways up there where you can learn how to build trust, or exercises or tasks that y'all can do, little games or whatever, just to build trust and to earn his or hers respect back for you. Like we said, those things are important. Trust is important, and it's what's needed.
Right. I think we've all seen some exercise, whether it be on TV, social media, on how to build trust. If you've ever seen, you may have like two individuals. You have one individual that's standing in the front, and then you may have one or two individuals standing in the back. And they'll say, put your hands over your chest and fall. Now you have to have trust in the person behind you that they're going to catch you. If not, then you're not going to fall completely. You might stumble, or you might end up falling on the floor. But you have to have trust that that person behind you is going to catch you, that you won't hit your head and have a concussion and have to be taken to the hospital and given medication and an MRI.
You talking about the trust fall?
The trust fall.
I don't even believe in the trust fall. Can we find
you may not believe in it, but it's an exercise that people do.
I mean, some people be like, yeah, I catch you just so you don't drop your head, but does it mean I trust you?
Well, it's just the sense of giving away that control.
I get what you're saying.
I mean,
I get it. I get it. I understand.
And that's another thing. Trust has a way of having to give up your control sometimes. Like, you can't control everything. You got to have trust that the other person can come through for you when you need them to.
Yes.
You know, that it can be in different situations. It can be financial. It can be, you know, in relationship wise. I know control for me is something that I had to work on, because coming before being married, I was a single parent. So I didn't really have to trust on anybody but myself. But after coming together, you know, in a relationship, I had to give up some of that control and let my partner help me in certain situations. So that's a big thing, you know, trust and control kind of goes hand in hand. Okay, so those are all the ways how to rebuild trust and the levels to show that trust has been broken. Before you leave, if you don't mind, can you like, share, and subscribe?
And also, if you want to be featured on our Black Business Spotlight, make sure you go to howdidwegethere@21@gmail.com. And also, I have a confession. We didn't do one today, but we will have one for y'all next time. But if you want to be a part of the I Have Confession and you want to remain
anonymous,
then email us at howdidwegethere@21.com. Again, if you want to email us and you want to be a part of the I Have a Confession or the Black Business Spotlight, and you want to remain
anonymous
with the I Have a Confession, email us at howdidwegethere21@gmail.com.
Right. Say it again.
Howdidwegethere21@gmail.com. All right. Peace.